Oh, that did take a very long time indeed. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be in the world. Here we are. And so far, 100% of our reviewers of the DJI FPV drone have failed to crash. They have failed to crash and break the arms yet. Or have they? Has anyone crashed one? Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. I didn't ask for that integrity test, but you're right. Yeah, no.
Live on the channel, watch it crash. Yes,
watch it crash. Absolutely. So, what do you put your no crashes down to, gentlemen? Just sheer skill?
No, for me, I've been avoiding full acro mode, to be blunt. So I haven't. I've flown tonight 3 packs in the limited acro mode. It was scary windy tonight, mind. So I didn't want to push it. Yeah, I'm not taking risks. Frankly, that's why.
Yep, that's it. Don't take risks. I think I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube of people saying the same thing. It's too expensive to break. It's too fragile to fly recklessly, so we're just flying it really safely. And hopefully that means that there won't be any incidents involving this craft, although having said that, I've seen some people flying over people, over roadways in the most scary fashions because they're flying in acro mode and they don't know what they're doing. In fact, actually, one of the common things is they turn left and you're right, and the whole thing sort of like peels over and starts heading for the ground, and it's like, oh, and they're doing it relatively high. But I saw one guy this morning, he had a drone with 4 broken arms because he had done a flip at low level after practicing up high. First flip at low level, broke all the arms off. It's like, oh no.
That's funny. See, that's the exact thing I said. This is the problem. You'll get proficient at altitude and in the safety basket. And the problem is you're going to say, right, I want to go to that next level. And you bin it and it's destroyed, and that's where I honestly think this has gone wrong. I've had quite a few comments on the video I put out because people are saying it's not for my type of flying, and I said, yeah, but the problem is once you've got used to doing that kind, you're going to want to take the extra risks, and then I'll be honest, I can't afford to destroy this right now because I need to make content with it. I do think some of the channels have binned them on purpose. Let's just say there's good ads, good revenue in that.
I don't know. There is a lot of
you
videos
just want to do some. No, you guys can only do TikTok videos with that. So why do you want to use it as a camera drone? You just want to do
use it on his beauty channel. I'm sure I've seen it on his makeup.
YouTube Shorts. Channel. YouTube Shorts. 1 minute. That's all you need.
1 minute. I got one going up later. It's funny. I was flying it tonight in the limited acro. I didn't take it out on purpose. I didn't feel I needed to. It was a bit windy, and I just said to myself, let's get used to how it feels. And it's still a bit sluggish overall. I need to mess with the rates to get it right. But the problem is it feels a bit like a fixed wing aircraft with the image stabilization.
Have you noticed you cut the throttle and it doesn't drop? It just seems like it's got a balloon on it.
It holds the throttle and in many ways, I thought I could be flying a wing right now because I was just doing some circles and around with it, and I just thought I may as well just have a wing.
So here's a question for you then both, seeing as you've both flown it. Would either one of you take the bowling alley challenge? We've all seen the video of the bowling alley flying. So would you dare try that with the DJI?
I think the only safe place to fly it is a bowling alley.
Because it wouldn't survive the knocking over of the skittles at the end. You'd rip the arms off it. That's the problem with the bowling alley challenge. Even if you got all the way through, you've just spent 600 quid destroying it at the end of the video.
And I'm actually surprised. A lot of the videos haven't got a lot of views. There's a lot of videos with 1,000, 2,000 views. You can't recoup broken arms with that sort of viewership. It's like people are just all totally, I had enough of this thing now. It's like it was a big peak and everyone was interested. Now it's like the bum's fallen out of the whole appeal to the YouTube audience, at least.
There's a lot of kickback as well. There has been about 5 or 6 videos that are out and out paid ads. Okay, they are DJI sent me this, and I'm going to tell you how amazing it is, and not one criticism of the product. And what's quite funny is the FPV community have just clocked onto all of these, and they're just giving them a kick in. They are absolutely kicking them all over. Some of the videos have had scary views. I think Potato Jets is like 600,000, but it's all of the people outside of the drone industry for the most part. I haven't looked at JB's. JB's has probably done well now, but everyone else, iPhondo, Potato Jet, iJustine, these have become drone channels allegedly, because every time there's a new drone, DJI send it to them, and then they lose it, or they'll film themselves jumping in a pool or do something like that. And whereas the real FPV guys, as Bruce said, they're not getting the views. It's just not. You can't. It's drowned out. You'll never compete with 600K. YouTube algorithm is just going to go, why am I going to show the guy who's genuinely showing how well it flies compared to Potato Jet?
Well, I'm pleased that White Fox have tested it, and a Drone Fox, sorry, White Fox. Yes, it is White Fox, Drone Fox. And as soon as the new drone was announced, the White Fox team tested it with their counter drone system, Drone Fox. Drone Fox is a library-based RF detection system that can positively identify drone protocols with no false detections. Drone Fox successfully detects and identifies the FPV drones using OcuSync 3 from day zero. So I'm safe from you two. That's the main thing. Around busy airports and other things, you two are not going to bother me. They can already.
And that's another reason we're not flying it. We don't want to be detected and put in jail for flying our drones in places we shouldn't. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's quite interesting though that I think it's the first counter UAS company that I've seen, and quite rightfully, I suppose, for the point of getting on board the hype, bring out something that describes the new thing that's on the hype train. So that in itself was quite interesting, I thought. But as they only fly for 3 minutes, you got to be flipping close to the airport, haven't you?
Well, yeah. Well, I think I'm getting about
geofencing. You can't fly it near an airport. It's got geofencing.
It's got geofencing. I'm getting about 8 or 9. Something that is interesting. Oh, sorry, Lou.
No, you guys are all wrong, because if you manage to reach 88 miles per hour, you'll get it back before it starts. So you can go to the airport and yeah. Come on, guys. It's a new stupid drone, and the reviewers are just crashing it left and right because they can.
But Louis, it's only rated to 80 miles an hour. That's why they don't want it going back.
It's quite interesting. I've just been looking at some of the numbers. This, just to show the interest, though, this is the most popular launch DJI have had I can remember. Looking at the numbers, it's more popular than anything since the Mavic Pro on the video watch numbers of their own content. So it's clearly grasped a lot of people.
The content they filmed with a freestyle drone, you mean?
I couldn't comment on that. Do you know what? I didn't watch that. Ash has made a point. I saw just that. And Ash has made a point that it's for new FPV pilots. But this is the problem, Ash. You will outgrow this in 30 days. If you fly this every single day for a month, you will be ready to be shooting gaps. And then you're sitting there with a 1,300 quid paperweight thinking, I'm afraid to fly it through the hole because I'll rip the arms off it. And this is the problem. It is the best training drone there is, in my opinion. Hand on heart, I think it is the best training drone there is. The safety features, the way it gets you out of problems with the pause button. I disagree. Bruce would disagree. I think I would disagree. I think it's not a bad deal. I think the package cost is decent, but the problem is, the second you really want to progress, you've just cost yourself 500 quid.
And that's why it's not a good training drone. I think the best training drone is a tiny whoop, is to get people, and you can get the box goggles, and for $200, you can be flying a drone. You can do it inside when it's raining and windy. You get the skills, the eye-hand coordination, and then you're much better equipped to go out there and fly freestyle instead of trying to take what is basically a Mavic on steroids and pushing it into that particular role with that big cost every time you make a mistake. Because remember that the simulator is only available on iPhone. If you're an Android user, you can't even practice on the simulator because they don't have one. DJI don't make the simulator.
I might try and pull Ash in. Let's see if we can send Ash. Can you come and join us? Because look, he's saying you misunderstand the target audience. I'd like to know who Ash thinks the target audience is.
Yeah, the target audience is in UFP.
We're not trying to hit people. Well, that will hit.
His community on his Discord.
They are today. They're loving it today. But let's wait for 6 months. And that's the key. So, okay, out the box, yeah, absolutely. But once they've learned it, once they've got used to it, then what happens next? That's the issue. because that's the biggest mistake this product has is it's just not strong enough to take a single impact. Okay, some people have got away with it, but at the moment the numbers are not looking good.
No, and everyone will have a crash. If you're going to learn to fly free or learn to fly that kind of cinematic swoopy through the gaps things, you are going to have a crash. And I think the situation may change once people have had to pay that first replacement refresh package fee, and then they get to the second one, then they might start thinking, ooh, and so it might get them to that point. But I think a lot of people are going to get there a lot earlier than they think in terms of breaking stuff.
This is interesting point he's made. They love it. It's just as much as their Mavics. Yes, but the Mavic, you hit the wall of its capabilities and can't go past. You hit a brick wall and you have to accept it. This has no brick walls. Apart from the ones you hit.
But they ever come with a brick wall? Who buys them with a brick wall? I don't get this.
Oh, did you see on Drone DJ, someone ordered one of these quads, and what they got was a brick in a box? Someone had tampered with the package and removed the drone. There was a brick in the box. So, yeah, speaking of bricks and drones, good connection, good segue.
Yes, very good.
It is a very good piece of kit. Don't get me wrong; it's got some bloody flaws and it's got some things they need to put right. But it is a very good bit of kit. But the problem is, the second you give people the level of freedom DJI have given them, you then have to build it in such a way that it is capable of surviving that freedom. And I think that's the mistake they've made.
Yeah, and I think some of the safety protections are built in, like the pause button. It's only any good if you push it in time. And I've seen a number of videos now where people have crashed and then pressed the pause button and wondered why it hasn't resurrected the thing. It's like, no. And when you're in a panic situation,
it's on the floor. Why isn't it saving it?
Who's going to remember? Where's that button again? Because they're new to drone flying. Which was it, the right one or the left one? Too late. You've missed it. You've lost it. And so, I
think this will end up a bit like RoboMaster. In the fact, RoboMaster, right, is a great product. Well, it's not a fail. I don't think it's going to fail, but it's a product that you outgrow. I own the RoboMaster. It is there. And the problem is you outgrow it in 2 or 3 months, and then you're left with something you can't do anything else with, or if you do anything else with it, you're starting to destroy it. And that's where the problem arises.
These are the fun bit of the RoboMaster, and you can get this Mechan wheels and the ability to turn and go, whatever. And there's a fakey makey using a BBC microbit, $50. Thank you very much. That's got a cannon. That's all.
There is a lot of talk of there's definitely a lot of talk that FPV pilots won't like this, or that as an FPV, I'm not an FPV pilot. I'm a drone user. I'm a camera drone user predominantly. That's weird. A commercial operator is a camera. And I like it, but I'm under no illusion that if I drop it into anything.
Quick question. Since you also have an Inspire 2, why don't you do all the tricks that you try to do with that FPV on the Inspire 2?
Because he won't let me.
The Inspire 2 is as powerful as that one.
Yeah,
you can
but
flip
he won't let me. Yeah, but
yes, it does. I've got a roll. You just have to. Come on.
See at the right point.
Yeah.
Actually, I need to make this microbit flash some LED so I can have a thing in the background like Ian does.
Yeah,
he has all that stuff and all that.
Target audience hates soldering, and there are off-the-shelf drones you can buy for the same price that will do that. And again, this does have many benefits, but it's just not strong enough.
The thing is, I'm doing 2 reviews of this thing. One is called Why This Is the Best Drone You'll Ever Buy, and the other one's called Why This Is the Worst Drone You'll Ever Buy, because we've got 2 separate camps, and I want to please both of them. So if you're looking for justification to buy one of these, I'll tell you why you should buy it. And if you're an FPV saying this is the worst thing ever produced, I'll give you justification to support your argument. So I'm doing 2 separate reviews. You just click on the one you want, and away you go. You'll be happy, because
take the red pill or the blue pill.
It is like that.
Can I suggest do a third video, Bruce? Do a third video. Don't why this does not care, because come on.
See, this is the thing.
It's just another drone.
It just works. It is, and look, Ash is right in many ways. People want to buy a product and work, and it does. But how are people going to feel when they tap a blade of grass and it rips an arm off? And that's the problem. And look, DJI made one mistake, and that was not making it stronger. And that's
Yeah,
the only mistake they've done.
They could have taken a conventional carbon type, very strong mini quad and put all this gear in it and made it really, really what it does now, but also really strong and capable of withstanding those crashes. They chose not to for a very good reason, because I think they want to be able to sell spare parts, and they want to produce a drone that looks different. They don't want it looking like every other freestyle drone. So marketing probably had a huge play in how this drone looks and what it does and what the specs are over the engineering department, because they could have made a carbon quad that would have bounced when you hit the ground instead of breaking, a non-frangible quad, we'll call it. They could have made one of those, but they chose not to.
Hands up, everyone that thinks that Ash is on DJI's payroll now. Come on, Ash, you've been too much.
It might be nothing to do with the $2,000 DJI credit, and that's all I'm going to say on that, because I'm probably burning another bridge there.
Hey, what's this credit? How do you get credit? No one gave me credit.
I don't have $2,000 in DJI credit because I chose not to be involved in things.
By the way, Gary, just remind people, the link to buy this will be in the description of this video.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And now a word from our sponsor.
They don't send it to me, Ash, now either. I can promise you that.
Yeah, it's well, what about the next new product that's coming out from them, allegedly, the one with the FCC reveals?
Weird one,
which one is it?
Mavic
The DJI FPV is the proof. No, the DJI FPV is the proof that this kind of staggered launch campaign works. Leaky products.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're genius at it. They're genius at that. Genius.
Yeah. It's a weird one because sorry, I'm thinking what I'm going to say, whether I want to say it. Just more bridges on fire. No, I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about this one, the new one. I can't imagine the Mavic A2 sold particularly well. I don't think it sold badly, and I think Ash did a good review on it and everything as well. And because it was sort of launched, if I remember, it was either alongside the Mavic Mini, or the Mavic Mini came very closely afterwards, and then the Mavic Mini 2 came less than a year later, and basically is very, very similar. So they've obviously had to do something now to separate the Mavic Air away from the Mavic Mini 2, the Mavic Air 2 away from the Mini 2. And if it's got an S, it'll have a mild bumping camera spec, probably some new ESC technology that you can't see or feel, but they say gives an extra 2 minutes of flight time. And it's looking like a bit of a stupid design with some eyes on the top of it, which if it really looks like that, I will be astonished they've let that leave like that. Where has all their design credibility go? Because it's horrible.
Yeah, it's just there's nothing new enough about it, I think, to make anybody go out and replace their existing equipment if it is what, as you say. And this is why they're doing so well, because it is something totally different. They've created this new market that didn't exist previously, and they're owning it. And that's how you make your money. You don't make it by incremental increases in spec and performance, where you have to try and encourage existing users to buy a new piece of kit. That FPV drone launch was fantastic, and whether you like the product or not, DJI have really done well in terms of making money out of it.
Yeah, I'm basing the sales on forums, groups, and everything I follow, and the Mavic A2 groups just never really took off. The Mavic Mini groups really, the Mavic
A2 is too sandwiched between the minis and the real Mavics. So, and they're trying to do a price per bracket. So they're trying to fill all the brackets. But I think they're wrong with the bracket size. So the price cap between the Mini 2 and the Air and the Mini 2 and the Mavics and the Air and the Mavics is not wide enough, because someone that wants to buy an Air 2 looks at the price difference for a real Mavic and goes for the Mavic, and from below you just buy a as capable drone and save some money by buying a Fly More combo of the Mini 2. So their price caps are too narrow.
Yeah, but I'm picking what they're going to do is all future drones in the Mavic and the Air line will have an FPV capability. They'll have an acro mode so that people will be encouraged, buy this to learn. Then if you want the really good stuff, buy the Air 2 to get the better camera and the better whatever. So this will be the way they're creating a market. They're going to bleed people into, say, all our other drones can also fly FPV. They've got OcuSync 3, you can use your goggles, maybe even use the remote. I don't know. That doesn't have a place. You don't need a place.
See, we've got to remember. Sorry. I thought you finished.
Yeah.
Bruce.
Go ahead, mate.
No, I just want to say, if we remember, the Air 2 launched in the middle of a pandemic. Remember, it launched on. I'm just remembering now when it launched. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. It was last year, 27th of April, 2020. So that drone launched right in the midst of you not really being able to do anything because we were all in lockdown at that point. Because I remember us talking about it, saying they've released a drone when no one can fly it. The Air 1 was the best drone DJI ever made in my eyes. It was the perfect drone. Absolutely perfect size, overall camera behavior. The Air 2 just felt a bit, it went to that Mavic design and it just didn't really feel like a step forward. I know dealers who've had a lot of them on shelves. It's sold, but I would think in their own numbers it can't be particularly great. I would not even expect it to look any different externally. For an S model, S with DJI or Black Edition, S, anything like that they Platinum, do is your Platinum, Alpine. We've had Alpine. Wait, the Mavic had an Alpine. There was Platinum. There was Phantom. The Phantom 3s, they managed to squeeze 5 variations out of. And all they did was change the sticker that you put on the arms and the camera. That's a good way to make money, that.
GT, so they'll make a GT version of this.
You do know the version 2 will be the one to buy because they'll fix all the problems of the version 1. Yeah, it'll be... But it'll be interesting to see. I'm not expecting much. Normally, it's something to push sales along in it. That's what it's about. Ignite some interest again.
Yeah, if they really had the head screwed on, though, they'd be leveraging the success of this and saying, well, now what you got here, you can also get in the latest camera drone, but you'll need the goggles. You have to buy those separately. Or if you've already got this and you bought this and you're thinking, whoa, I want a better camera drone, you'll be encouraged to buy the new camera drone, which is compatible. Compatibility can drive sales. Although,
it's going to be interesting to see how support copes. They will never have had anything like the numbers they'll have on this before, based on the fact it has sold extremely well.
Well, you know why you're having all the problems? Because DJI misunderstood the term disarm.
And people watching this might think I don't like the product. I actually love the product. I think it's very good. I just can't hide it. You cannot hide away from the fact it's brittle. And that is the right word to use. And I used it early on and I thought, is that a little bit unfair? And I'm now leaning on it's not. It's
frangible.
Frangible. Yeah,
frangible. That's a great word.
Love that word. Yeah. Love that word.
It's like giving a new driver a Ferrari, isn't it? Giving someone who's passed his test, give him a Ferrari. What's going to happen?
He always talks about these expensive cars to remind us he's got a Lamborghini. Isn't that good? You'll show us the chair, Ian.
Yeah. It's another 10 grand.
There we go. Well, so let's just move it away from DJI a little bit. I found it very interesting this week that the Blue UAS program has opened its doors again and looking for its next contenders. Will the next contestants step forward, please? They told us at SES News that it was going to be 2 to 3 years until they let anybody else back in the program. So whether that's the start of a 2 to 3 year program, I don't know. But what really surprised me about the announce was the number of units that they're expected to deliver per month to the military or whoever. And the number is a fantastically high 10. So if that is the sort of numbers that Skydio and the others joined up with, or let's even say they joined up 10 times that amount, 100, or even 1,000 units a month, that's not the sort of number that makes a unicorn company. So can somebody explain how you can become a unicorn company if
but
that's
have they
the sort
expanded
of
the list because most of the craft on it were vaporware?
You said it, not me. but I might agree with you. Yeah. Well, what do we mean by vaporware? Do we mean that they can't ramp to scale? Maybe they can't do more than 10 a month. Certainly Skydio and Parrot have the ability to produce product at scale. Parrot have shown that. It won't be at DJI scale, but it'll be at scale. So yeah, I was just surprised. So if you've got a Blue S, and it was very interesting that they made sure we knew that the command and control link was open source. I thought that was very interesting in the filing, and
Yeah,
they've
surely
shown
that's not a good idea. Well, okay, no, it is a good idea. I
No, it
suppose.
is. It is. It is.
As long as it's
It is.
yeah,
Come
as I
on.
say yes.
Come
yeah,
on. And
Well,
you'll all get surprised with the surprises that we have on ArduPilot for command and control. We just got a very good donation of a piece of software that will make some heads turn regarding ArduPilot and giving ArduPilot professional-looking multi-platform control system. Let's see how it goes. And
you're talking about
open
the
source.
integration with ATAC or something else?
No. Something else.
Another one.
It
Something
is
else,
now
okay.
official. We're just waiting for the announcement, and it will be
Oh, okay.
quite a surprise. Quite a surprise for many people, including Ian.
Including Ian, not only but also Ian.
Yeah.
I've just put in that the Blue SUS announced. So if you are in America, you might be able to stop using the term "made in America"
For that-
or "assembled in America" and use the term
For
part of the Blue. Go on, mate.
No, for that Blue SUAS, who do you guys imagine that will be on the second take? There are not many.
No, there aren't.
You get-
but there's plenty of people that are going to try. There'll be plenty of pop-up
Yeah.
companies now.
Okay,
What?
let's forget pop-up and mom and pop and the bottom of the stairs companies. Who do you guys think that has the muscle and the capabilities to present systems on the Blue SUAS?
I think, well, if the number of units you need to deliver every month is only 10, then quite a few people, I should think. Dragonfly can't because they're Canadian. Well, then maybe they can, I suppose. No, yeah, of course they can. But I don't know what Dragonfly actually use inside. And
What?
yeah,
Who was the biggest surprise? Who was the biggest surprise that was not present on the first take?
Well, I don't know. You can tell
American
us.
company. Come on, Free Fly.
CDR? Oh, Free Fly.
No, Free Fly. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. No doubt. Well, they'll be trying, but I think most of their products are too big. I think for the requirements, aren't they?
Yeah, but nothing stops them. They have the technology, the know-how to custom build something within the specs.
And I noticed with
guess
interest
we'll see them.
that they were just last week. They were looking for a developer. Funny enough, my cat's just walked in. You've invoked cats. They were looking for an ArduPilot developer last week. Funny enough, I saw in the ads that I put up in the jobs listings. So if you're, hang on, let's find that. Let's put that up there as well. So if that's what you're into, I just found the whole thing very interesting. Right, there we are. UAS software engineer, 6th of March. I will put the link in here. So you're not all that interested in it then. The Blue SUS program. That's just me that was interested in it.
No, come on. It's interesting to see. Besides all those mushroom companies that can come up with a frame with 4 sticks or 2 sticks and 4 motors, and build it upon that. On who else has the muscle? Who has the capabilities to develop something interesting within those specs? I don't see many. Because the market is so closed, and as we know, our friends from the FPV drones from Shenzhen are out of the game, so there aren't many.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
biggest issue.
And of course, the other one, and I'll put this link in here as well. The other one that hit that we've known about for a while is the class action suits against Ag Eagle and the accusations flying around about that. Whilst I've heard it a lot, I've left it for somebody else to make the accusations in a more public way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with them, because of course they bought the Mika Sense cameras not long ago. So that is one to watch with interest. And that was all about talking up, working with Amazon and their delivery drones did their stock price. Amazing job. And it turned out not to be true. So that was another interesting one this week. So that's what I have. That's all I have for this week. Anyone else have anything else or want to talk about that? No,
we are preparing on Autopilot. We are starting to ramp up the annual conference that will be virtual again this year. Is less than a month to go. So if people want to do presentations on something related with Autopilot, we are open to proposals. But most of the development conference talks are already underway. We still haven't decided how open we are going to make it, perhaps fully open. Let's see how it goes.
I see Max still, Matt, Ash is still having a pot. We completely just don't understand the audience. I might have to agree to disagree there. Well, what is Mark's trying to say something?
No, I think he has a point. He has a point. That is for the guy that goes to a shop and has a 12-year-old kid that says, "Oh, Dad, get me this," and has enough disposable income to spend $13,000 on a toy.
Disposable is the opposite.
Doesn't matter that. No, it doesn't matter that then it can fly once or twice. Does not get broken like the two guys that we have on the panel because they don't fly it or don't fly it as it is intended to. But then it will be a nice paperweight that can fly once, twice, every.
You've got to remember, if you look at the videos that DJI use to market this, they show you flying stuff that if the average guy tries that, he's going to break his drone. Flying through gaps, flying, in all those places, and even flying down mountains. This has got altitude limit. If you take off and try and fly more than 1,500 meters above your takeoff position, it won't let you. So you can't dive big mountains and things. There are limitations on it. But that was promoted and marketed as a way that Joe Average can get these really cool, swoopy cinematic shots. And I would say that, knowing the number of people I know who've learned to fly acro mode, nobody's done it without quite a few crashes along the way. And it doesn't matter how many training wheels you put on. When you start pushing the limits, you will make mistakes. You'll have a crash. So the total cost of ownership becomes extremely high when you try and produce the kind of videos that DJI use to promote this product. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
All I'll say is,
Bruce,
I just want to assuming this. So I just want to say this. Bullshit. I know exactly who this was marketed for because I signed the NDA and backed out of it. I know exactly who they were aiming this for, and I knew we were going to end up where we are today, and that is one of the reasons I chose not to go ahead. And I will be blatantly clear. I chose not to be involved. Now, there are many issues with DJI's marketing over the years. There are many. We can all sit here and say they give 500 meters range. They give you 10 kilometers range, but they advocate for NFCs. We know all of this stuff. However, this has been marketed, and Skydio are guilty of this. DJI are not alone here. Skydio were guilty of showing their drone flying through all of these fantastic things, and then it hits a branch in a tree and crashes, and they're not honoring warranty in those situations. So they're as guilty as this. But DJI's marketing video is you can fly this and become an FPV pilot and fly it like a proper FPV pilot. That's who they've marketed it for. Doesn't matter who buys it. Doesn't matter what he's learned. That's what he wants to do. And he can do that with this product. No one is saying he can't do that. However, When he does, there is a very, very real chance he is going to rip an arm off it and cost himself anything upwards of $100 to $500. And the second that person does that, who spent $1,300 on a product, and a month or two later sits there with it ripped apart on his desk, is going to sit there and think, what have I spent my money on? And that's where they'll do the damage here. It's not day one. There are guys laughing about ripping arms off right now. That's fun once. I got K refresh. That's fine. Do it twice. Now what happens? What happens time 3, time 4, time 5?
Where
You
does
don't fly it. You don't fly it. It's easy. You don't fly it. You put it on a shelf and show it to your friends and boast about, oh, we can do 80 miles per hour and do this and do that. Don't you want to do it? No, sorry, I can't. I don't have any charge batteries.
Louis right.
Right.
Louis is right.
Wrong. Yeah.
I saw Louis right. I saw a popular vlogger who got one of these, and her big thing was you can put stickers on it. She put stickers on it. If you can do that, it's got to be good. You can put stickers on. You can put the green shell on and put your own stickers on. Make it your own. Put it on the shelf. Woo, done.
I'm interested to see if they nerf this one, because DJI have nerfed many products in the past. Inspire 2, they reduced speed. Inspire 1, they reduced speed. Phantom 3, they nerfed it. They removed problems around CSC mode. It'll be interesting to see how they get on when the large number of warranty claims hit and how they're going to handle it. Because, okay, they're never going to remove acro mode. They're not that dull. But
come on, they make so much money out of that drone that is obscene. Because come on, what's the profit margin per unit that they're doing? I'm sure it is very, very high. That's why they were ending these left and right to everybody that has a GoPro to shoot a vlog. Come on. It's so much money they make out of this. Come on, they even gave one to Bruce. Come on.
They even gave one to Bruce. Yeah.
All this naysaying apart, which shows you they don't really understand their market. Why would you go on to me? But all this naysaying apart, I've said before, it's a product that I'd consider buying. To be totally honest, I would really consider buying it because I want a camera drone. And this is a camera drone. It's not a particularly good camera drone, but it's good enough. And it gives me the freedom to do some freestyle swoopy stuff if I want to, with a 4K 60p camera, with the goggles, with a nice little controller. When you add it all up, there's a use case for me, but I wouldn't be replacing my freestyle drones with it. But I don't have a camera drone, so this has extra benefits. I think there's probably people in the same position who want primarily a camera drone with the ability to do something extra. Whether they do that or not, we don't know. But for me, looking for a camera drone, I would rather buy this than a Mavic.
Actually, interesting thing. Sorry, Mark. You go, Mark.
I've got a question.
Oh, sorry.
I have a question for both of you then, right? Because we all know that some of those shots that were shown off with that DJI FPV drone flying around, they were not that particular machine in question. So why would you plump for something like that versus the real machine that was actually used?
Because you might only be able to afford one drone and you want it to do two things. And this drone does two things. If you buy a Mavic, it only does one thing. If you buy a freestyle drone, it only does one thing. This does two things. You're getting two drones for the price of one.
I can guarantee why they did it. There's two reasons. I know why they did it. Number one, they probably only had one unit to film with. Yeah. Because it was early days and they couldn't risk damaging it, and that tells you everything. But that's normal anyway. You know, there's always struggles. But probably the chances are the kind of shots they wanted, the pilot was more comfortable flying the aircraft he was flying, and the camera isn't good enough. The simple reality is the camera is not good enough. Wouldn't have been good enough for their 4K ad on YouTube. It's too much noise.
We did speak about the bowling alley earlier, and we did speak that this thing would make it in the bowling alley challenge. But Bruce says he's going to try it, so that's fine. And what he's going to do is actually try and bowl Ron over. That'll be perfect.
And the worst thing is, I actually think I'm with Bruce. I actually really like it, and I enjoy flying it. And it's in my benefit to say everyone should buy this, because as Bruce says, I do use affiliate links. So in fact, I have every reason to tell everyone to buy this. But I cannot honestly, hand on heart, say it's the right decision if you want to learn to progress in FPV if you have any interest in flying acro mode, you're going to end up in trouble at some point. And are you happy to throw $1,300 down the drain?
Okay, this is the number of guys that might want to progress on FPV. So
that's just like Drone Industry Insights. It's as exact as their numbers. That's fantastic.
Put us on the blue list immediately.
That's a fantastic.
If a pro like Ian that flies drones like there's no tomorrow doesn't want to go to the advanced modes of that drone and doing 88 miles per hour, come on, Ian. Do you really think that a guy that spent $1,500 or $1,300 for that gadget is going to try to be proficient in FPV like some of the real pros that fly day and night and are getting paid for that? Come on. I have a bridge there to sell you, Ian. If you're interested on that.
I think there are enough broken drones on YouTube to prove that people are going to push it beyond their abilities.
If you're going to give them the capability, they're going to do it, and that is always the problem. That is always the problem. It's I'm looking forward to the eBay sales. It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, I think, and what Ash is saying about this, it's not for people that want to fly real FPV. And you made a comment earlier. What was the one? Oh, I can't remember. And I disagreed with you, and I've forgotten why I disagreed with you. Oh, that's right, about people making their shots look more engaging for their own content that they make, or something like that. I'm already bored sick by standard drone shots. I'm already bored sick by FPV bridge diving and stuff like that. It's okay. That bowling alley thing's a great example of wow, that's cool. But you've really got to work. If you want to make some videos stand out now, you've got to have some skills. You've got
absolutely. That's why I get so many offers of work.
Yeah.
But did you, speaking that bowling alley thing, did you see the one they did at the Mercedes Museum or the Mercedes headquarters? They did exactly the same thing. They brought a drone in from outside, flew it through around. That was the first kind of drone thing like that. But I think what we're going to find is that this is great. It's a novelty. But if we saw those every day, we'd go, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. It's like 3 seconds. Just a lot of money for 3 seconds, 2 seconds, isn't it?
But the good thing about the bowling alley one was, did you listen to the audio? The audio work on that video was brilliant because you could hear. They did a really good soundtrack that you could. It was like with the drone, you wouldn't have picked it up because of the noise, but they dubbed it with the noise of the people talking and the bowling ball being polished and all that sort of stuff. That was the clever bit of it. That's why it was not just an FPV flight. It was a work of creative art.
Gar, can I share my screen a minute?
You can share the screen. Yeah,
and by the way, Bruce,
this is my last word.
Any video that you produce with that drone, we don't believe you because you also have a video that shows an F-15 flying over to Corolla. So we don't believe anything you do.
I filmed that with the prototype of the DJI drone.
You're chasing it. Yeah. You're doing chasing with it. I'm adding. I don't know what I'm adding.
Don't worry, it's not terrible. Tell me when you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Right. This is who they've marketed it for. This is their own video. This is the DJI video. This is the Mavic flyers who want to
take off on a black sand beach.
A bit more excitement.
That's silly. Have you ever put a magnet into black sand? Imagine what happens to the motors if you land on a black sand beach. It is just not worth talking about.
Look, see, like those slow Mavic flyers. Look, see, look, ooh, through that gap. They down through the trees. See that this is who is marked. Those slow Mavic flyers. You know,
the expectations set by this video are unrealistic.
Yeah.
Is that well? Yeah, well, but I'd be bored of seeing these shots. Oh, Ring of Fire. There's a song about that.
Quick, get the preparation H.
Yes.
I don't care who buys it. This is who they've targeted it for. Oh, look, he just went up. He just flipped. He's got to be careful. One of those drops of rain will rip an arm off.
I'm not.
She's not
Go with. You must tell us. I'm not really sure your point, because we've seen this video. Just help me with your point again.
My point is this: that
How can we help you?
it might be. Oh God! It might be. Have I stopped sharing? I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be Mavic flyers who are interested in it. DJI have marketed this product for people to be able to do that, and it can do that 100%. It can do that 100%.
Ash, it's what he said before. Bullshit. Marketing, but half the synonyms, they mean the same thing in today's modern world.
I have no interest in ripping them apart, but they've left themselves wide open on this one. And I cannot honestly, hand on heart, say to people, you are not risking $500-600 if you fly this like that. And I wouldn't be able to say that with any other product.
Yeah, it's just mismarketing. They've basically marketed it as something that most people are not going to use it for. But if they'd marketed it honestly, I don't think they would have sold as many. If they just said, if you got a Mavic and you want it to go fast, get one of these, they wouldn't have sold as many. They've done an excellent job in marketing. And as we know, 90% of marketing is stretching the truth. I think a number of who was the phone manufacturer that got caught out using a DSLR for sample shots of what their camera would do on the phone? It is just standard practice today. You've got to create the hype, the illusion, and then people, I think, are growing to understand that you can't believe everything you see on the internet unless it's on Ian's channel, because he's the man.
Yeah, he's got the
Have you
links.
seen
He's got
photo,
links you want to
video, and
follow.
aerials? Put that comment up. Photo, video, and aerials. Last comment.
Was it that one?
That's why you can get a motion controller.
Hey, it's
Oh my God.
it's a polarizing product. That's for sure.
One
good for the
ring to rule them all. It's just one ring to rule them all.
I should crash it. What do you think of the views? I should literally rip an arm off it.
No,
You double your views to 100 overnight.
What would be
Did
interesting
you
if
get-
you do damage one? So if you do damage one, guys, what would be interesting is how can you actually fix it? Could you get it flying again? If you was to snap that arm, could you actually repair it? What would be the best technique? That would be.
Funny you would say that. I was
Don't say
thinking,
that to me.
I wonder how many of these will start turning up with carbon rods instead of arms and bits hot glued on, and it will happen. The rich rebuilds of DJI drones.
Ash is very right there. That's very right.
There's
That
a lot
is
of money
right.
out there. Yeah, there's sell loads.
Hold
more.
on,
They have
Ash.
sold loads.
I like Apple products, but I'm not a fanboy. Hold on.
Actually, those arm braces, you don't need those. I used a sling and it works perfectly well.
You don't want to use an arm
Arms up.
brace because it'll rip both arms off, not the one when you crash. That's the problem with it.
That's right. We did move on, and then we sauntered back.
Yeah.
It is a very
I've just seen
polarizing.
something. This is something that's just posted. DJI, and it is DJI, but it is quite interesting. They've managed to annoy now all of their enterprise dealers. The talk is they are now selling enterprise products direct. Now this
we heard that was coming. We heard that was coming
we?
when they
I
shut America
missed that.
down. Yeah, we heard it on the rumor
Oh,
phone.
come
The loud
on.
rumor phone told us.
Come on. And what's the good of that? They are selling at least price the enterprise products. Who buys at least price? Do you buy at least
it's
price,
just-
Ian?
No, but what it is a fundamental change in their behavior. They intentionally didn't sell it direct because they wanted to build a support network through their dealers. Because, okay, their original plan with Enterprise, and you guys might not know this, but the original plan with Enterprise was to not handle the support themselves and actually put it onto the dealers. And that's why they sold direct through the dealers. That's why DJI did not directly deal with many enterprise issues. You had to go to an enterprise dealer and deal with them that way, and your dealer would barter with DJI on your behalf if you were lucky. But what they've now done is said we're going to sell direct. So the question is, where's the support for that? Because they fired everyone in the US, or they left. I should add, one or two of them left.
Well, or found their way into another position en masse because they chatted about it a year ago. But anyway, other things we may have heard about. Hello, Kevin. I see you in the comments. Matt, we've got to be careful. We've got to be nice now to Parrot, because Parrot's man, or one of the people in America, is in the comments. And old news, as you say. And I hope the honeymoon is still going well for you, Colin. Colin, Kevin. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's the whole DJI thing has changed, and there's not. I believe isn't the support for this FPV all in Thailand, isn't it? I think.
I don't know. The FPV guys were based out of Thailand, so that's where the guys who originally made the FPV drone. When I was part of the original beta and before pre-release on that, that was a team, a very small team of a couple of guys, very good, very active, very responsive, out of Thailand. Now, I believe this is a different team.
All right. Okay.
I don't believe it's the same people, but that doesn't mean support for DJI has always been in Thailand. On customer services anyway. That's why I always say never believe what DJI customer services tell you. For God's sake, never believe a word of what the online chat guys tell you.
But the most important thing that came out of DJI lately is their announcement that they're going to open source their SDK. That's the biggest announcement.
Yeah, but we don't know what that means. What does it mean?
We don't know what that means. Right. And under what open source license it is, it's going to happen. So, but given that they are so slow to support their new products under their SDK, I really don't know how well they're going to handle this. And I really struggle to see where they're going to go next, because we've heard of all the crazy issues with the enterprise level drones, the M300s, the compatibility problems with the RTK add-ons.
Oh yeah, that's a shocking mess as well. Yeah, I've heard that one.
But we cannot see a clear line. Perhaps they have it, but it's not what we are seeing. And Gary, do you remember that screenshot I sent you that DJI still has 87% of the drone market or something like that, done by some of those guys that theoretically do that analysis? And the guy that sent me that, and I told him, because we were discussing about industrial drones, and they sent me, oh no, DJI has 80%, 87% of the market. And I told them, yeah, don't forget that they're adding from $100 units like the Tello to $10,000 drones. So but we cannot see a line, because the mid market that is currently taken by the Phantom 4 Pro V2, the Mavic Pro 2. It's not. We don't see anything happening there. Everybody's distracted with this so shiny toy, so shiny breakable toy. Sorry. Shiny breakable toy, and we cannot see anything coming out of them. It's disappointing at least.
Yeah, and there's more news that more Phantom 4 Pro RTKs, whichever one that one that was the problem with, more have been found with dodgy cameras of the latest batches. So something has gone wrong in the production of those. So if you're in the market for one, get an older one. Don't get one of the new batch.
Is there something wrong with their camera production? Because I mean, with the new FPV drone, that camera's, I'm not that impressed with it. And if the old Phantom 4s are having bad, have they taken the cameras in house now, or some part of the camera in house, and that's causing issues?
The Phantom 4 was a bit of a complicated situation, because this probably I shouldn't say, but I believe that the info I was given was the company that made the camera module and lens assembly went out of business. Now, this drone has a very unique camera. It's the only one with a global mechanical shutter. It's the same camera as in the X4S, exactly the same. I have an X4S. It's like gold dust now. It's worth, you can't get them for anyway. And it meant that they had to shift all of the supply they had over to their RTK version, because they literally launched the RTK version and production went out. And my understanding was they've arranged new production, or they bought the equipment, or they've started it themselves. But it seems this issue is with all of the ones they've started themselves. Now, it could just be a new lens design, and it's just not the same. The old Mavic Pro had some real issues with its lenses at times. Many people who bought the Mavic Pro on launch week had real soft parts to the lens, and they had to be sent back to be replaced. That's why you can buy on eBay boxes of Mavic Pro camera modules, thousands of them, for like $10, because the cameras all had issues with soft lenses. So they've got something going on here. It might just be it won't be as good as the previous one, whilst it's the same model. It's a production change, and it may never quite. I saw the images that gentleman come on and shared with us, and I can see what he's saying. I'm not sure how many people would. I do wonder how many people who would buy it would really dig in enough to see it, especially if they hadn't had both.
Yeah, well, that's the definer, isn't it? If you haven't had the first one, you're not going to know. You're never going to pick it up. But it can't be long, because there cannot be that much of a demand for those in the world. It can't be long before they disappear.
I know Thing sold his last ones the other day. I was talking to it's just jumped out of my head. I'm gonna have to look his name on my phone.
Oh my God! And is this the guy that wants to fly an FPV drone?
The paint is dry.
Which button do I press?
Ben.
Which button do I press to make it go up?
Ben had a few on the shelf for a while, and he sold them the other day. So I don't think it's a particularly fast-moving product.
Yes, indeed. All right, look, we've been waffling on for nearly an hour, and we've upset Ash, who I hope is well with the family in Sweden.
Yeah, I hope it's okay over there, mate. Keep avoiding COVID. Mark, you must have seen some news this week I've missed. What have you seen? Have you seen anything?
I've not really seen anything new. No, I've been too busy teaching people online, I'm afraid.
Are you not going to survey us about anything, Mark? Are you going to survey us about anything?
Oh, there was the CAA Skywise, wasn't there? Survey thing.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Slick,
I'm awake.
You know what I did there?
I'm awake. You can tell. Yes. So there was the CAA through Skywise released a survey request if you want to fill it in, where you can you can either say good things or even maybe give negative feedback or positive feedback on the flight restriction zones that exist. We're still being charged to access them in some places.
Yeah, and as Josh is saying, Indian drone laws were announced, and Kenyan drone laws also were announced just today. And Bruce, have you got hold of the chap from CAA? Is he coming to talk to us?
I haven't got hold of him yet, but I'll be introducing myself and inviting him to come down and enjoy the pleasures of Tokoro. Introduce myself, yes.
When he goes into the office, there'll be your bloody great big file will be sat in the corner.
Well, no, apparently the word is, why is that man's face on the dartboard?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, India. Oh, Gatwick drone IPA. Gatwick IPA. Yes, please. Gatwick. Another big story is coming out on that from another grown-up in the media world. Who's disclaiming it, and things are happening in the background about that story, and it's been written up as an urban legend in the UK now, which is a positive thing.
Well, funny enough, it's rather interesting. So I did a search because I was doing a bit about people taking their drone on holiday, and I thought, I need to see and make sure that see if people have been arrested. So crazy people are booking holidays already to go abroad. I don't know why, when we're in the middle of a pandemic still, even though it's like June, July, they want to go on holiday and they want to take their drone with them. Now, it's quite interesting because depending where you go in the world, depends what regulations. And unfortunately, our culture, so in the UK, we think we can just take our drone, fly it anywhere, or take nice photos, and there's no harm done, typically. Okay, you might get a bit of aggro from an angry person occasionally, but typically not too much hassle. Okay. However, if you think taking your drone to a Middle Eastern country on your holiday is a good idea, I would suggest you need your knuckles wrapping. because you could quite happily end up somewhere for the night you really don't want to be or longer. You know, they have a different culture. They have a different way of thinking. Their rules on privacy, it's not just about the drone flying, their privacy rules. You could end up in the clink, you know, and certain countries will use you as political sway once they've got a good enough reason for you. You
Like
know,
Iran.
no, really? Do they do that?
Well,
Just ask the Frenchman.
So just be careful. You know, if you're going to take your drone and you want to take it on holiday, if it's a mini or not, it doesn't matter. Try and use this.
a chum of mine had he was on the positive side of a relationship with the authorities in Uganda, and when he went through the airport, they opened the door where they chuck in all the gear that they confiscate from tourists. They said, "What do you want? Just take them." They had a room, and they were just as soon as someone landed, they were just chucking it in the room. There it goes. Thank you very much.
People don't. It's like we don't think of the country we're going to, and the culture there is different to ours. You know, we completely think. Yeah,
just treat it like a gun. How many countries can you take a gun into? I don't think there are many.
Yeah.
Well, unless you go to America, then getting a gun is just easy anyway. Just walk into Walmart. Oh, wait, you can do that for a drone as well.
Yeah. CU507. All right, look, we have. Look, we're just over an hour. Should we try and finish on an hour? Because I've got to go to school tomorrow, special meeting with the headmaster. So I can't stay up late.
Stick newspapers down your shorts. That's the best thing I've found. Newspapers or a book.
Are you in trouble again, Gary?
Yeah, all of us. The whole it's an old staff meeting. So either I've offended every member of staff, or
Bubble wrap will probably work. But we didn't have bubble wrap when I went to school.
I have one quick question.
Go on, then.
In the FCC filing, did anyone note what the C marking was for the new Mavic S or whatever it was, or the Air S? Did anyone spot what if it had a C rating? I saw someone's comment come up saying it had a C rating. Did anyone spot what it is if it has one? Just out of curiosity.
I don't think it. I wouldn't be shocked, but I still don't think we're anywhere near ready for that yet, are we?
No, I don't think the standards are all there yet. They're not set yet. Like the noise levels are not set, I don't think, or the remote.
They don't need. For the FCC filing, they don't need a CE rating. It's only EU.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of misunderstood, because it did pop up saying it was listed in the FCC thing. And I thought, really? Is that right? I just wondered if anyone had seen if it had or not.
I'll have a look at the image now. I can see the image up.
I'm sure it'll be CE rather than China Export rather than C. So I don't think. No, I don't think there's anything yet has got one.
I don't think anything can.
Anyone know anything about ANAFI USA or ANAFI? It doesn't need one there, but
there's a lot of labels on it, markings. Don't really know what you got. CE, obviously.
That's not it.
The CAC, UK, CA.
Got the letter C on it, lots. That's fine. The letter
Basically,
C
we're going to throw everything on it. Yeah.
How much does it weigh? Do we know? Just out of curiosity. Okay.
No, the DJI have only leaked enough to get us interested.
Not really.
Yeah.
Absolute masters at it.
No, come on. They were so successful on this baiting campaign for the FPV, so they're just rinse and repeat. It's just what they're doing, rinse and repeat. So, Bruce, be happy. You'll get the new drone camera. Cool. You'll get the new drone camera.
Apparently, that new drone, at least the battery is 50C.
And this guy too will get himself a new drone camera.
I won't be buying the Mavic 2S.
No, he won't.
Oh, come on.
I spent all my money on this, so I can't afford the Mavic 2S.
Buyer's remorse.
No, you'll sign the new NDA. Don't worry.
Don't do that anymore.
Let me get this. See, let me get the. Ash says it's clearly there. Let's see, Ash. Does it look like?
Well, if it's sub 900 grams, it'll be a C1 rated aircraft. That's for sure. If it's under 900 grams, and they are saying it's got a C rating, it will be rated in the C1 then, which is the A1 aircraft category, C1 aircraft. That's
and they should roughly look like that sort of thing there, isn't it? That's what they're expecting. Yeah. That's the approved. So it's got to
that's
have
the European one in it, which is not.
So and if it's sub 900 grams, that's where it'll sit, I expect, with a one.
I wonder how many hundreds of thousands of dollars they paid to get that symbol designed by a group of ponytailed latte drinking modern social media idiots in a room somewhere.
No, the funniest thing.
The
funniest thing.
Sorry, Louis, you go.
No, you go. Let me find out something for.
The most amusing thing about all the C ratings, and this thing makes me kind of smile a bit and go, whoever came up with it clearly is not, it's committee thought of. When we build our model planes, right, they say, you're going to have the C rating or they'll be classed in C4 or whatever. Could you imagine how long it's going to take before all the model flyers eventually end up with an aircraft where it comes in a box and it has a little rating? Because I should think Bruce and maybe Ian and maybe Louis, if you fly model aircraft, they tend to last a long time. We don't break them very often, to be fair. Well, at least I don't.
You haven't seen my videos, have you? You haven't watched a single channel video on my channel, have you?
I don't break equipment at all.
Yeah, I was just thinking that when I said that, Bruce, I was thinking, that Bruce, But, for the most part, a lot of model flyers, when you're down the club, but those C ratings, and they're going, everything's going to end up in the A3 open category. They should just have said, it never has to have a C rating, you just fly it over there.
C stands for crash at our club.
Yeah, look, Ian's gone mad. He's gone mad.
I'm just seeing if that's brittle.
It's the Tello Acro.
No, it's survived.
Ian, I've got your battery. Mate. You can't fly it.
Can you believe that they sell? You can't fly it. Can you believe they sell prop guards for this thing? Seriously, prop guards for that? What? It's for flying indoors, I suppose, and doing power dives.
My battery's actually died, Mark. I need to get a new one. If you've got any space,
one sec. I'll throw it up.
Oh, there we go. Sorted.
Isn't this internet thing wonderful?
It is. It just opens the world up, doesn't it, to interesting and vibrant conversation.
Like a gaping wound. Yeah.
Gary.
Yes. Don't tell him.
Look at those CE markings and look at this. We're speaking about spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
DJI have got their own C. It's for the Mini.
Is it a conspiracy? Because Mini is now owned by the Germans and it's BMW.
Yes.
So is it the German government that's done it? That's the question.
So drones are the new V weapon, eh? Ooh.
Yeah,
I didn't go that far.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. That DJI FPV doesn't have C marking, does it? So then in 2 years' time, 2023.
But it's got the same UKCA on it, but I don't believe that's actually.
I don't know what's the problem because there won't be any DJI FPV drone in 2 years because they're all in pieces. Come on.
2 years? You're a bit optimistic, aren't you?
So this will be a collectible then. You don't want to find them, put them on the shelf, and in 2 years' time, you'll have the only one left in the world.
Do you know what my brother did when we were about 10? No, but 7 or 8. So I got, those mammoth steam engines. I got the beam engine and ran it and set fire to the carpet, did this, did that, do all the other things you did with it. My brother got the car. And he looked at it and he said, that's going to be worth something one day. We were like 7 or 8 and he never used it, kept it in his box. That's just wrong. Those sort of people are wrong. And that's my brother. But anyway, that's the side story.
So here's a question then. So in 2 years' time, what will be the most common part you won't be able to get hold of? Oh,
Yeah.
that FPV drone.
Yeah.
Propellers. Propellers.
Will it be the left or the right? Or will it be the
Stickers.
top?
Stickers.
Stick
Battery.
Yeah.
You can put your
Yeah,
own
they're going to
stickers
fly
on.
off, aren't they?
There was in a bomber over Berlin. Yeah, nothing. There was upside down. Nothing on the clock but the maker's name. Yeah, I know, Patrick. I know. Common sense. Rev B0. You've been here enough. You know, red card. Red. You can have a red
penalty.
Yeah, penalty. You can have a red card like that. You know that's banned here. Common sense is absolutely banned here. You know that.
I need to get a red card, don't I? I ain't got one.
Yeah, I know. I need one too. All right, we are definitely waffling. Any more for any more? Did anyone see anything else this week we want to talk about? Go. Oh, hello. Who's got
What's
the
that,
red
really?
card? He's got a red card.
Oh, it's a red card.
From his FA Cup days. Go on, Mark.
If you're flying in Scotland or you're in Scotland at the minute, check for the NOTAM because the Queen Elizabeth carrier has gone to the weapons depot for loading, and there's a massive 3 nautical mile no-fly zone, no matter what aircraft you're in. Doesn't matter if it's a drone, a microlight, doesn't matter. Basically.
Did you see the tweet that went around Twitter
Yes.
for that?
Yeah.
That was good. Fair play.
Yeah. All right. Going once, going twice. We are waffling. Dear viewers, wherever you might be in the world, be very safe in this crazy time. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you again roughly this sort of time next week. Yeah, thanks very much, everybody. See you next week. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.